Hi, so I'm going to be showing you how to paint and assemble this skull with the raven on top. And I'm going to be using chalk paints and the art crayons again. I'm going to be showing you some cool distressing techniques on how to create a spooky finish on this file. And this one also comes with the back, the kickstand that goes on the back to hold it up. So that's how the stand goes. I put 2 of the stands, so I cut 2 and then I just put the piece right in there. So that's all there is to putting the stand together. Just go ahead and slide that piece in and then you glue it on the back. All right, so I'm going to be starting with taking this all apart. So if you look here, you'll notice that this is scored, so you know exactly where to place it. So that's that, and then there's also score lines on the little button. So I'm going to show you that there. So there's the score lines. So so you want to make sure that you set those to score. So I'm going to go ahead and take this all apart. So there's our little florals on the hat. Take that apart here. Here are the little flourishes. I drew some new flourishes this time. So these are all going to be scored. So make sure you don't set those to cut. All right, I'll take the hat off, and here's our little raven. And this takes less than a sheet, and it's actually you have a lot of leftover room, and you can adjust this in size if you want to make this bigger or smaller, because there's no slot on this because it has that back little piece that goes on there. So you can adjust this, and you can also use this for card making or sign making, whatever you want to use this for. So I'm going to go ahead and take this piece off. The only thing you're going to paint on this back piece are the eye holes. So you're just going to do that, and that's all you have to do on this for here. So I'm going to grab some black chalk paint, and I'm going to be using the Folk Art Rich Black. I'm just gonna go ahead and open this up and grab some paintbrush, and you're gonna be painting the eye holes and the teeth holes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paint that. There we go. And that's all you're gonna be doing on this one here. Just this here and the nose hole. So that's all you have to do. This one's an easy peasy layer. Just gonna go ahead and paint this all black. And while I have my black paint out, I'm going to be painting the raven. I'm gonna paint the hat purple, just so it pops off of the raven, so it's not all the same. All right, so that's all I'm gonna do here for this one. Just like to make sure I get all the spots here. And if you want to double check, make sure you got everything, you can go ahead and layer it, make sure you got everything. Yep, got everything. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this over here to dry. That's all you have to do there. And I'm going to grab some black, and I'm going to paint my raven. You don't have to paint the raven on the layer with the skull, because it's going to be covered up with this layer here. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you set your lines to score deep enough, you won't have to worry about those being, you're not going to see that. So, and you can definitely still see those lines. I set mine deep enough so that way I can still see them with the paint on them. There we are. And I'm going to use the art crayons for the distressing and the sponges. And you can get those art crayons on Amazon. Easy peasy. Or you can get them at Michael's. If you just type in Marabou, they pop right up. There's a whole bunch of different ones. You can get the set that are all the colors, or you can just get the basic set. So they have a lot. They have like glittery ones, they have like metallic ones, they have lots and lots of the art crayons. So I'm just going to be using the black and the white today. So if you look, you can still see those score lines. I can see them in real life, but you can definitely still see them. If I bring this up close enough, you can still see those score lines. So there they are. So no worries about not being able to see those score lines. I'm gonna set this over here to dry. And I'm gonna come back over here now, and I'm going to paint my skull white. Alrighty. Whew. It is getting hot. It's early in the morning, but it's already 90 degrees. It's so hot. It's a hot weekend. All right, 4th of July weekend, and it's been quite hot. All right, I haven't decided what color I want to do the flourishes. I might do this black. You know, I mean, while I still have my black out, I think I'm going to do this black. I just decided that. I think that would look really cool black. I'm going to do the, I think I'm going to do the flourishes for the raven, maybe orange, like I did on the other raven that I did. I think that was like last year or 2 years ago I did that one. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I need more paint on this. I just thought it'd be kind of cool while I still have that black paint out. There we are. And I wanted to try some new flourishes for this file. Haven't drawn any new ones in a bit, so I wanted to get some new ones. Try to new and improved. There we are. I think that would look really spooky. You can do whatever color you want, but I just thought they were kind of cool. And if you don't want to do this layer, you can totally skip this. If you don't want to put the flourishes on, just skip the layer with the score step and just don't cut the flourishes out. If you just totally want to skip the flourishes, that's totally up to you if you want to add the flourishes or not. All right, so there's my flourishes. I'm gonna let those dry, and I'm gonna come back and I'm going to grab a white brush, a bit bigger paintbrush. I'll grab this bigger one here, and I'm gonna paint my skull. So this over here, and this is just white. It's just the chalk, the Craft Smart chalk paint. It's just in white, simply white. So, and I got that at Michael's. All right, and I really like this white. It's I've tried a lot of white paints in the past, white chalk paint, and I like this one the best. I just feel like this one is, it seems to cover pretty well in the least amount of coats. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paint my skull. And you can still see those score lines. Don't worry, you're gonna still see them through there. I can still see them. All right, and you don't have to worry about painting the raven because we're gonna layer that other one that we already painted. All right, I need more white paint. Grab some more. I like chalk paint because I feel like it covers pretty well. You can use acrylic too. I just like the chalk paint because I feel like it covers really well and it creates a really cool texture, and I just think it looks really cool. I've used acrylic paint too. I just feel like you have to give it a few extra coats, but I mean, it depends on the brand. Maybe I just bought like some yucky brands, I don't know, but I feel like I've had to give it a few coats. This just really covers really nicely. All right, I'm trying not to go too heavy on this because I don't want to get the paint all in the little holes. I'm trying to be very careful not to get it all inside there. There we go. And you don't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to avoid the paint inside the eye holes. And I am going to distress this, so doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and I'm trying to avoid getting paint on the sides too. If you get paint on the sides, you can always use your chalk crayon, your art crayon, and just kind of add that to the sides. There we go. And you can definitely still see those score lines definitely coming through. All right, I'm almost done here. I grab a little bit more white paint. There we are. And here we go. I like to start on my fall stuff early enough because I like to do a lot of Halloween. It's one of my favorite things to decorate for. So I've been working on Halloween for a little bit now. I just think it's so fun. Okay, and Christmas, that's another one. I enjoy getting started on that early. Okay, and we'll finish up the teeth area. Okay, and it doesn't have to be perfect, like I said, because you're gonna be distressing this. But if you don't want to distress it, that's okay too. You can just leave it as is. I just like to kind of make it look a little spooky. All right, so I just want to give it a little bit more. Grab a little bit more paint. Just add a little bit more, just so I don't have those crazy brush strokes. There we go. And just kind of blend that right out. Okay. And got a little bit of chunky there. Okay. Get that right around the eyes. And just use my nail to get all that extra paint out of there. Ooh, got bugs here. Outside in my garage, painting. It's a beautiful day. Okay, so there's my skull. I'm gonna let him dry. And it's pretty much almost dry at this point. I'm gonna put this over here. And now I have my hat. I'm going to do this purple. So I have a purple paint over here. It is called Amethyst, I believe. Amethyst, and it's from Dixie Belle. And I'm going to also distress this so it's not so bright. This is a very bright purple. I'm gonna grab another brush. And I like to use the cap for this. And there's my hat. I drew a new hat for this. So I'm gonna update. I'm just updating files so that they're new and improved. New flourishes, new hats. Because otherwise, I don't want people to buy like they're buying the same files over. I thought it'd be kind of cool to do like an Edgar Allan Poe type with the raven and the skull. I thought it was kind of cool. All right, I thought it'd be kind of fun to have a little witch hat on the raven. There we go. All right, so there's our hat. I'm gonna put my purple away. And I'm gonna decide how I want to paint my florals. I'm gonna go with this green. It is English Ivy. And I'm gonna paint those greens. And then I'm gonna use orange for the, I think on the berries. Yeah, I'm gonna go with orange. All right, I'm gonna grab a brush, bring these over. And I'm just gonna get these here. Actually, hit those berries a little bit much. So, all right, so that's all I'm gonna do with that green. And I'm going to grab that orange. And it's the DIY paint, Summer Crush. but you can use any orange you want. You don't have to use the same paints that I'm using. Just kind of a suggestion. I'm gonna grab this orange here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and paint these little berries. Okay. And I'm gonna come over here and do these ones too. Okay. Here we go. This is part of that one here. Okay. That's it. And I also have some acrylic paint markers that you can use. So I bought these. These are on Amazon. I got them on sale. I'm not sure if they're still on sale, but they were $8.99 for this huge container. That's a huge thing of paint markers, and they are double-sided. They have blunt and a fine tip. So I'm gonna try these just to show you another option for painting. So they have this side, which is kind of more of a blunt tip. It's like bigger, and then there's also the fine tip. So I'm gonna go ahead and use these to paint. Oops, move this out of the way. So I can show you how to paint these little pieces of the flower. So there's that. So these are on Amazon, and the brand is Real Ziva. So if you type that in, you'll be able to find that. So there's my flower. So that's that there. And I might go with a different shade for this one. I'll put my cap on. So this is called Real Ziva. And I'm gonna grab another shade. So this is the brand. I'll show you that again. Real Ziva. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correct. But there are 24. And I got these on sale. I'm not sure if they're still on sale, but 24 and they're double-sided is a really good deal. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna use the bigger side this time. And I'm gonna use the brighter color. Just as another way to paint. So these are really a good deal. And I use these a lot for like earrings and whatnot. They're definitely a good deal. Amazon. Okay, so there are my little layers for my flowers. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna layer that on top. And there's my, just layer that right there. So there's my flowers. I'm gonna try to line those up. Here we go. And then that's all there is for my little hat. But I'm going to distress that a little bit. So I'm gonna put that over here, and then I have my little button, and I'm gonna use the white that I already have out. So I'm just gonna use what's left over. If there's still, this is still wet. I don't think it's even wet anymore. I'm just gonna, yep, it's still wet. I'm just gonna gently dry brush my little button, because I wanna use very little paint because I don't want to ruin that score line. There it is. So there's a little score line on that button. There we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and gently dry brush on the little button. That's it. And I'm gonna put my little button on there. Easy peasy. There's my little hat with this little button. So cute. All right. Now I'm going to come back to that orange that I used earlier for the berries, and I'm going to paint this. And I have my orange. I'm gonna grab that, and I'm gonna paint these flourishes. Here we go. It'll really pop on the black body. So this is pretty much all there is to painting this. And it's only been 20 minutes since I started, and I've been gabbing. So you could probably do this in 15 minutes. Really easy to paint. Be fun for a paint class. It'd be a very short paint class. So there's all you have to do. So that's all the painting there is. So I painted everything. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry for a second. I'm gonna bring everything back now. I'm gonna move all of this out of the way. So here's the back layer. Definitely, if you wanna try these markers, let me know if you decide to invest in them. They're really easy, really fun. So now I'm gonna layer this right over the top. And here we are, and you can definitely see those score lines coming right through. So you don't have to worry about when you paint over, you can't see the score lines, you can definitely see them. So there's that. So I'm gonna layer this right over the top. I'm gonna grab this guy here, and he's gonna layer right over the top. There's the little guy, but I want to use my art crayons. Here are my art crayons. I have the white, and the brand is Marabou. There it is. Get these on Amazon. And I'm going to use these little sponges, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put some white on here. And you can create a cool effect just along the edges. There we are. It kind of looks kind of chalky with the white. I think it looks kind of cool. And you can create like a nice kind of a shadow effect. And you're gonna do the same thing with the black. So that's all there is with the white. The white's really cool, and you can blend that right out. And you can blend it with your fingers. So it kind of creates a neat effect. So there's the raven, and you can see how cool that looks. Let me bring that up so you can see it. So you can see how cool that looks. Really neat. All right, so there is our raven. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this flourish. Just to create like kind of a dusty effect. Like it's old fashioned. And I'm gonna put that right there, just like that, and it looks so cool. All right, I'm going to grab the black. I'm gonna just move this out of the way so I can do the black now. Grab my black art crayon. You can see this one's heavily loved. I use this one a lot. The black is what I use the most. And I'm going to, I'm gonna grab a fresh one. I have one that I just used yesterday. And I'm gonna just add a little bit of black to this. And you don't need to use a lot. A little goes a long way. All right, so I'm going to just rub this along the edges. And you can see how cool that looks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that right out along the sides. And you can see it's got a very nice, soft look to it, rather than just putting the crayon right directly onto the project. You can use these little sponges. And I got these on Temu, but you can get them on Amazon or Michael's. And if you got some of the paint on the side, there you go. Use the little sponge and just blend that right out. And you can go around his eye holes, create some nice distressed look there. Looks spooky. There we go. Around the nose, maybe around the teeth. Real spooky. And then there's his jaw. There we are. Looks really spooky now. And you can even bring it in like more if you want. Like, I'm gonna drag that down a little bit. Maybe here, maybe a little bit more. It's really how much you wanna add. It creates a cool shadow too. It's really spooky. A little bit here. And there's like his jawline. More, yeah, a little bit more. There we go. And that's why I like the chalk paint, because it has that cool texture. So you're getting that texture right here. That's why I like the chalk paint. It's kind of thick. So there's that. And if you wanted to just leave it like that and not add that flourish, that's totally up to you. Kind of just adds a little something. Just a little decor. And you could leave it like that. Like if you didn't want to add that that score line, you don't have to. I'm just gonna really blend this out. There we go. And when you get to the desired effect, you're all set. So there's my skull. Super, super spooky. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing over here with my flourish. I'm gonna add a little bit, just kind of add a little bit along the sides, create some shadow, some shading. There we go. And that's it. So when you get to the part you like the most, like you're like, okay, I'm gonna stop there. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the hat. And I'm gonna just kind of go around the edges. Just add like a little bit of a shading. That's it. I don't want it to be too dark either, because I want it to really pop on the black. Okay, so here is my Raven. Put him on top. Make sure I get everything all lined up. Line everything up. I like to make sure everything's lined up perfectly. There's his little hat. So really want that hat to pop. So in real life, it looks much brighter. I'm gonna bring it up so you can see it. There's that purple. All right, so I'm gonna line that up a little better. And then I'm gonna grab his flowers. Here we go. There's his florals. And then we have our flourishes, and you can see the lines. And I'm gonna line that right up, put right on those score lines, and it is finished. Easy peasy. So there is our Raven on top of a skull. That's all there is to making this. And I'll just make sure I line it all up perfectly. But that's it. And I hope you like this new file, and I hope that you have a lot of fun doing this. And let me know if you decide to try any of these products. They are really fun to use. I'm going to show you the markers one more time. You can get these on Amazon. I got these on sale. I don't know if they're still on sale, but I got them for $8.99. But I want to say the regular price was only like $13.99 or something like that. But they were pretty reasonable, and you get 24, and they're double-sided, and they're great for so many projects. All right, well, thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye.